Thank you, Mike. As Mr. Spade said, I'm Colonel Monty Cannon. I'm the Vice Commander of the 96th Test Wing at Eglin Air Force Base, and I'm the Senior Officer over the search and rescue operations that have been ongoing. First of all, I want to thank you so much for your patience during what has been, as you can imagine, a very difficult and trying time. We've taken a slow and methodical approach to it, so I appreciate your patience. At this time, I can report that we have located the wreckage of the UH-60 Black Hawk that was reported missing Tuesday evening. At this point, we are not hopeful for survivors, and we are transitioning our search and rescue operation to a recovery and accident safety investigation that will be led from by a team from the Army Combat Readiness Center, the Louisiana Army National Guard, and the U.S. Marine Corps Marine Special Operations Command. That transition is ongoing at this time. They're getting up to speed. Team Eglin, Team Hurlburt stand ready to support as they attempt to continue the recovery operations and attempt to determine cause. At this point, our thoughts and prayers go out to Louisiana Air National Guard, U.S. Marine Corps Marine Special Operations Command, the units, family, and friends of all involved in this tragic event. At this time, I cannot release any names, any other information about the personnel involved. At this point, if you have any questions on those will have to be answered by the Louisiana Air National Guard, the Marine Corps, or Marine Special Operations Command. I'd like to close up before I hand it over here to just say that this was a fabulous team effort. As you can see, they've been operating in some very, very, very difficult conditions. The team effort between Team Eglin, Team Hurlburt, the Coast Guard, numerous federal, state, and local agencies has been outstanding. I also want to say a big thank you to all of the communities of Northwest Florida for their tremendous outpouring of support. It has been truly humbling. At this point, I would like to introduce to you my Chief of Fire and Rescue Services, Mark Giuliano. He has been the on-scene incident commander throughout the last day and a half of search and rescue operations, and he'll tell you a little bit about more of what the team's been doing. Chief?
Good morning. Again, my name is Chief Mark Giuliano. I am the Fire Chief at Eglin Air Force Base. I have been the incident commander for at least the first 24 hours of this incident, and I'm going to kind of describe what happened and where we are at this point, okay? So the night before last, at approximately 10 p.m., we were notified, Eglin Fire Department was notified of a potential downed aircraft in the Santa Rosa Island Sound. We responded assets immediately. In fact, we have a fire station on the island, so those assets were on scene immediately. I arrived on scene at approximately 11:30 p.m. and immediately was put in contact with the aircrew that was still on site. All right. I was told at that point we had an aircraft down with 11 souls on board, and they were asking for our assistance. So at that point there, we initiated search and rescue operations, requesting boats from local fire departments, Niceville Fire Department, Coast Guard, Mid-Bay, Fish and Wildlife assets were requested. Now understand, it's about 11:30 going on midnight. The conditions out there were very, very, very dense fog. Boats that did get on scene could not see. They were probably traveling about less than 5 miles an hour out there, afraid to run into each other and any hazards that might be out there. What they were doing at that point was looking for any survivors that may be in the water. Okay? Those operations continued through the night. I had requested additional assets to come in from the Coast Guard, boats with sonar, side scan sonar. We had very limited assets at that point. Until those assets arrived on scene late yesterday morning, we were pretty much searching in the blind, just basically out on the surface. We were also responding to reports of debris washing up on the north side of the bay. And we had assets on that side here at 98 responding to any responses or calls of debris or human remains that were washing up on the side. We were gathering those and bringing them back to my location where we had a staging area operation set up to handle that kind of stuff. At approximately 9 a.m. yesterday, late morning, I'll say late morning, we did have a hit from sonar on what we thought was the aircraft in the middle of the bay. We immediately sent divers out there to get eyes on the target to confirm that it was the helicopter. We sent a diver down basically with a snorkel, and he could see from the depth of about 25 feet, he could see that that was the helicopter. At that point, we got back to my command post, and the game plan was to do a side scan sonar mapping of the bottom of the bay, so we could really see what was going on down there and develop our dive plan from that. That took about an hour to do. Once we got the scan, we looked at it, we confirmed, yeah, here's the helicopter. It's broken up into several pieces. We determined what we were going to do, what teams were assembled, who was going to do what. At approximately, let me get my time straight here, about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the search and rescue was still ongoing. That's when we put divers into the water to start retrieving the air crew. Operations continued till about 1800 last night. As you saw yesterday, the fog rolled in yesterday afternoon, hampering operations on the water. The water conditions turned to almost zero visibility underwater. So the crews that were down there were struggling to do what they had to do. So at approximately 18:30 last night, we had to stop operations because of the conditions out there in the water. We did maintain a presence out here last night for any reports, and I appreciate the media putting out telephone numbers. Fortunately, we received no calls last night of any debris washing up anywhere, and that was a good thing. So right now, we are in the, as the Colonel stated, a recovery phase. The Coast Guard has contacted a salvage unit out of Mobile. I don't know the name of that agency. You have to ask the Coast Guard that. But we expect them to come on site late afternoon, early evening. But as you can see with the conditions, and we have some weather coming in later on, they are probably not going to be able to start any operation tonight. I don't know what the weather is tomorrow, but I believe we have some more weather coming in tomorrow, so that may hamper the beginning of their operation. Okay? So at this point, as the Colonel stated, we basically started our transition to the Army, handing the site over to them. Accident investigation team is on site. We're working with them, giving them the debris and the things that we've recovered so they can start doing what they have to do with the investigation. Okay, I want to say, as the Colonel stated, this has been an outstanding operation. I've had phone calls from all of the southern Gulf states, from people offering assistance for boats, sonar, food. I mean, people are getting my phone call. I have no idea where they get my number, but they're calling, offering assistance, and that's been tremendously overwhelming to me as the incident commander. Local agencies giving food at the gate, food that was delivered here. You know, the responders out there were busting their butt to try and get out there and rescue people. And the support that we got from the local community, state, federal, it's just been awesome. And I can't thank you enough for that. So at this time, if you have any specific questions as incident commander, I'll try to answer those that I can.
Have any bodies been brought up yet?
We have retrieved remains, okay? That's all I can say at this point. We have a Armed Services medical examiner out there on site right now, and he's working that stuff.
What caused the helicopter to crash?
I couldn't tell you that. But the investigation team, the Army investigation team, will talk to crews. They'll get that flight data information. They'll determine what caused that accident.
Is the data recorder still in the chopper, or did they make an effort to bring it up?
The recorder, as far as I know, is still in the wreckage. We have not retrieved that.
Can you tell us about the training mission that they were doing when this accident happened?
I could not tell you that. I couldn't speak to what they were doing out there that night.
Are all victims accounted for, sir, or all personnel on board accounted for one way or the other?
At this time, again, recovery operations are still ongoing, so that's all I can tell you.
Where exactly did it go down?
Out in the middle of the Sounds.
Generally
East or west, what area?
Basically east of us right now.
Near what road? Is there a road?
I can't give you a road out there.
You last time you said you lost contact around 8:30, but you didn't get called until 10. Why the delay?
The Army was following their normal protocols when they have a missing aircraft. So once we got the call at 10 o'clock, we responded.
Where are the pieces of the helicopter right now?
They're over at my staging area on the other side, Santa Rosa Island.
So there are multiple pieces. I mean, we're talking about like dozens of pieces, or how did it break up? Can you tell yet?
It was certainly a high-impact crash, so we do have a lot of debris, a lot of pieces, yes, sir.
You know what altitude they were last at?
Could not tell you.
That'll all be handled by the Safety Investigation Board. They'll look at all the data and come up with a cause, exactly we piece what together, what happened.
Chief, is it normal for an hour and a half to pass before emergency responders are called in this kind of
Again,
situation?
I don't know. I can't speak to the Army's protocols. I just know they followed them before they called us.
How do you know it crashed into something else?
I'm sorry, ask your
How do
question.
you know it crashed?
That is the primary purpose of the safety board that is standing up right now. They will look out and try to determine the cause of what happened to the aircraft that evening.
Could you describe that safety board one more time, Colonel, just so we know who's on it
It'll be composed of the primary members will be from the Army Combat Readiness Center, and then it'll have representation from the involved units, Louisiana Army National Guard, as well as the Marine Special Operations Command.
Per protocol, should they not have been out there during that time with all that fog?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Per protocol, should they not have been flying during that much fog?
I don't know the conditions that they saw at the time. That'll all be looked at by the safety board. They will look at it from flight briefing through the end of the incident and determine what happened and attempt to determine the cause.
Sir, can you tell us about the training that they were undergoing?
No, I can't. We are the host. We're the range. They were a regularly scheduled training mission. They were down here training. I would defer you to either unit to determine or to ask your questions about what they were actually doing for the training. I can't speak to that.
What's the name of that safety board, just so we have that right? What do you call it?
It's a safety investigation board.
Safety investigation.
Do you know how old the helicopter was?
I do not.
Colonel, can you address the delay, the hour and a half
Are
delay
you
in
worried?
notifying authorities of that procedure? What is that about?
There are, again, that'll be under the purview of the board, but there are standard protocols for a lost communication with an aircraft that were followed, to the best of my knowledge. And once our team was notified that assistance was required, we scrambled those folks down here and started our search and rescue efforts in coordination with, again, those federal, state, and local agencies. That's all the information I have.
So the search and rescue began at 9 or so then? Or?
I don't have the specific timeline with you. As soon as our folks were called, we responded.
The military was there before the fire chief. Is that correct?
Say that again?
There was military personnel searching before the fire chief was notified at 10:30.
There are other.
Answer that, sir.
Go ahead.
The training unit had a couple of Zodiacs in the water, part of safety for the training event. So they actually had boats in the water doing an initial search until we arrived on scene.
Are there any plans to give you any information about what happened to people that were on the Zodiacs?
Say that again.
Did anyone see what happened? Did anybody see what happened to the people that were on the Zodiacs? How close were they, and were they able to give you any?
To my knowledge,
No, nobody saw anything because of the dense fog. People said they heard a loud bang, and that was it.
Was there any communication between the crew of the second helicopter with the one that crashed?
We don't know. That'll be, again, something that the board looks at. We don't have that information.
Sir, we understand that the range belongs to the Air Force, but this was an Army chopper with Marines on board. What role does the Air Force play in the exercise of everything?
Just from the standpoint of we schedule the.
What are you doing?
We schedule their airspace. We give them a particular chunk of piece of airspace to work in or place on the ground. We facilitate their training with our resources here. That's about the extent of our involvement. I think there was a question.
Are there any plans yet to honor these men?
That will be part of our protocols for dignified transfer and respect for our fallen comrades, and I can tell you that's all being planned and worked, and that's all.
I have questions about what's going on in the sound right now, probably for Chief G.
Right now, what is happening is they are actively transitioning from our effort to the safety.
How much is closed? For our local mariners, how much is closed, and are there hazard zones because
I
of
see what you're
debris,
saying.
oil, etc.?
I think that's is being put out in terms of for the air NOTAMs for the airmen, and then the equivalent for the folks on the water should be passed out to all the mariners what's closed and what's open.
for civilians? Like, how would civilians know where they can go, or is there a cordon actually on the water?
And there are Coast Guard boats actually actively out patrolling the area.
Colonel, what branch gave the green light for flight that night for that exercise? Was the Air Force being the host, or was it Army operations, or?
That is the operating unit handles their flight operations.
Guys, we're gonna wrap this up, so we'll take one more question, then we're
Can you
gonna.
tell us how deep the water might be where the helicopter is gone down?
Yeah, it's approximately 25 feet deep.
And can you, one last question, are the servicemen inside the helicopter now?
That's part of the recovery operation. We're handing that over to the board at this point, and they'll take it from here and determine what's going on. Hey, again, I just want to say last thing. Again, thank you for your patience. I just want to say a big thank you to all the agencies involved, and also to the local communities for, again, the tremendous outpouring of support during this difficult time and under some very difficult conditions. Thank you very much.